Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Daegu, South Korea. It is a shockingly snowy day here, and we are at the Paul Bassett Cafe. And I thought I would just go ahead and try once again to do a live travel Q&A to answer some of your questions about traveling to, in and around, and from Thailand. Because the last time we did this, the caliber of the Wi-Fi was so low that the whole video looked more like a poorly executed Monet painting. So we're going to attempt to do it again, and hopefully this time the visuals will be better and more of you will actually get to participate this time. Hopefully this is a better time for everyone. So today we woke to a surprise weather forecast. Last night we went to bed and it was supposed to rain here in Daegu, South Korea. And I think that looks good. What do you think, Kim? It was supposed to rain all day today, and instead of raining, it turned into a day of snow. And despite the fact that it was about 60 degrees yesterday, or about 14 degrees centigrade, there was snow. It snowed hard enough and long enough that the surfaces all chilled down, and we actually have several inches of snow on the ground. We got a pretty lovely video of walking here in the snow that will be available on my Walking with the Contessa channel if you're interested in checking out that. It's not there yet, but it will be. Right. So if you have any questions as we're going along through this live Q&A, do pop them in the chat and I will make sure to answer them. Right. So traveling, for those who don't know me, I am the creative Contessa, Rachel, as some of you know me. I have been traveling the world my whole life, basically since I was 18 months old. And some of my earliest memories are of airports and airplanes and being sick in airplanes, but that's another conversation. So I have also been living abroad for most of my life at this point, so I have lots of experience both traveling the world and living in a variety of countries. So, you know, I bring a lot of experience to the table, and I bring a lot of lessons learned and failures and near misses and sometimes full out misses in the travel world. So I'm happy to share all of those adventures with you, my lessons learned, so that you can have a better journey on your next vacation. So Thailand is, for many people, perhaps it seems like a completely exotic world, and it is. Mistake me not. Thailand is an amazing country. The people are very friendly. It's also a tropical country, so it's very hot. It's very humid in most places. It's also a developing country, and in some cases it's undeveloping if you talk to some of my Thai friends. So it will be a different world for many of you who are from the US or from Europe, or even if you're from countries like Japan and Korea. Thailand is going to come as a surprise. A pleasant surprise in some cases, and unpleasant would be too judgmental, but maybe a bemusing surprise is the way I would describe it in other cases. So there are some key tips that will help you enjoy a trip to Thailand so much more. One is getting around. So Thailand has, one of my Thai friends described it as an anemic and underdeveloped public transit system. In Bangkok, the metro and the BTS are great. Those are two separate sets of public trains, by the way. The BTS is more like a kind of commuter train. The metro is the underground, and they actually are not interconnected in any way. You have to have two separate sets of payment methods. You can use your credit card for the underground in Bangkok, but you have to either pay cash or get a rabbit card for the BTS. And the rabbit card will also can also be used actually on other, it can be used on buses, it can be used on some of the tourist ferries, the tourist boats, and it actually comes with discounts at certain sites in Bangkok. So when you get to Bangkok International Airport, whether you're coming in at Suvarnabhumi or Don Muang, you can actually procure a rabbit card there at the airport. It requires a deposit, and you do not get any cash that you have on the card back. You can get that refunded when you leave the country, but the cost of having the card, you never get that back, and it's 100 baht to purchase a rabbit card. Why is it better for you to have the rabbit card? One, the rabbit card gets you a discount on BTS rides. It also means you don't have to stand in line at machines and use cash continuously to purchase tickets every time you get on the BTS. So for the convenience alone, it's worth 100 baht. 100 baht right now is like $3-ish US. Yep. Chris, oh, thank you. Welcome to my live stream. Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, just let me know. Yeah, so Rabbit card for Thailand. You can use a Visa credit card though for the metro in Bangkok. So yeah, it's a dual system. They're still working. Maybe, hopefully, they'll integrate them eventually. The way in other countries, all of the public transit is integrated. I'm thinking Germany, for instance, where most of the public transit is integrated anyway. So the other thing you need to know about getting around Thailand is you have a couple of different transit apps, rideshare apps. One of them is called Grab, and Grab is used in several different countries in Southeast Asia. But the Grab app has been getting more unreliable. We had real issues with it on this last trip, whereas 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, it was fine. So what we were advised actually to switch to Bolt, and Bolt turned out to be the much better option. It was cheaper and it was more reliable. In the case of Grab, we were sometimes waiting half an hour for a driver to come and grab us. But with the Grab app, you actually have some very interesting transit options, which you might not and definitely don't have in other countries. For instance, you can actually get a Grab bike, which means that you are riding behind a motor scooter driver or a motorcycle driver, in which case you just have to kind of grab on. Some of them will have helmets for you to use, some of them won't. My friends who live in Thailand carry their own helmet with them so that if they take a Grab bike, they have their own helmet and they can be safer than otherwise. But my friends in Thailand have told me, I have lots of friends in Thailand, by the way, have told me that the largest number of vehicular accidents involve motor scooters or motorcycles. So just keep that in mind as, informing those decisions. But Pokemon, welcome. On our last trip, Bolt was 1,000% better than Grab. We had no problems with Bolt. We had tons of problems with Grab. In many cases, we were waiting half an hour for a Grab ride. Our drivers kept canceling. Bolt, we never had a single cancellation, and it was cheaper. So I'm just giving you, and our Thai friends are the ones who told us to switch to Bolt, to go away from Grab. So Pokemon, where are you coming from that you don't like Bolt, interestingly? Yeah. Third like, oh, thank you, Pokemon, appreciate that. Yeah. So in other methods of transit are these like open pickup truck things where you sit in the back of this pickup truck on a bench seat. They don't have seat belts, so if you have a vehicular accident, you are probably not going to live. Just keep that in mind. The other problem with sitting in the back of those open pickup trucks is that you are going to be breathing all of the exhaust from all of the vehicles. And Thailand doesn't seem to believe in emission standards. At least it doesn't seem to believe in enforcing them in any kind of way. One of the things we noticed in Thailand was that we woke up every morning super congested from the air pollution. So you might also want to consider a breath mask, a mask to protect you from the pollution. A lot of my Thai friends wear them, actually, and they actually are getting the really heavy, like N95 masks. So keep that in mind if you have, issues with respiratory illnesses, if you have asthma, or if you just don't want to be breathing enough pollution a day as though you were smoking 2 packs of cigarettes, because in many parts of Bangkok, that's kind of the pollution load we were reading, that it's like, in some cases, smoking 1 to 2 packs of cigarettes a day. So keep that in mind. Yes, Chris. Oh yeah, the flight from the US. Lorraine, welcome. Thank you for joining us. The flight from the US, if you fly nonstop, depending on where you're going from, if you're going from LA, for instance, from the West Coast, it's significantly shorter than you're going from the East Coast. It's about a 15-hour flight from the West Coast. It's like a 17 to 19-hour flight or even a 20-hour flight from the East Coast. I think it's one of the longest flights in the world, not the longest, but one of the longest flights in the world. And now they actually have planes that can make that flight nonstop. It used to be that you would actually have to lay over somewhere and then continue onward, because the planes actually couldn't carry enough fuel to make that distance. But the last couple of years, there've been some real development. So it's a long flight. If you're going to go to Thailand from the US, I really recommend you go for 2 weeks, one minimum. For one, the jet lag, it's going to be like literally going to the other side of the planet. So you will, and if the body adjusts naturally an hour per day. You can try to force it, but you're gonna feel it really badly for the first couple of days, if not a week. So I really recommend that you go for 2 weeks minimum. 3 weeks would be more recommendable. If you're going from Europe or from other parts of Asia or from Africa, the time difference is much less severe. What's up, random lady? Vincent, welcome to my travel chat. I'm actually discussing travel tips for Thailand, so welcome.
Lorraine's from Delaware.
Lorraine! Oh, is this the Lorraine I know from Delaware, like in the SCA, that Lorraine? Let me know if this is indeed that Lorraine.
Chris is from
Yeah.
Denver.
Yeah, I am actually from Delaware originally. I am a Delaware native. I was born and raised in Delaware and lived there until about the age of 22. So yeah, you may not meet many of us. There aren't many of us in the world relative to people from other states in the US. Yeah, welcome. Yeah, Thailand, Delaware in the summertime, that's Thailand. That's basically Thailand. Most of Thailand, with the exception of the highlands and up in the mountains where it actually does get cool. Yep. Let me see. I'm technically Hawaiian. My paperwork was done there. Let me see. I don't like spending my money in America. I like going to other countries and spending it. 100%. I actually emigrated from the US back when I was 22. I actually studied abroad in Spain when I was 20, and I went back for a year at the University of Heidelberg, and then I spent another semester at the University of Paris, and then I graduated and I moved to Germany, and I lived and worked in Germany for 10 more years, and then I moved to Korea, and yeah, over the last 25 years, I've only spent a total of 4 of them in the US, 5 of them in the US over the last 25 years. Well, Lorraine, I know a Lorraine from Delaware in the Society for Creative Anachronism. That's why I was asking if you're the Lorraine I know.
We can't discriminate Delaware.
Yeah, no. No. Just double checking if you were that Lorraine, because the name that is used in the YouTube handle isn't necessarily someone's full name. Yeah. Oh, you need to get rid of Sad Boy Bebop. Sad boy needs to go back to his mommy's basement. Yeah, you shouldn't have been let out. No, your poor little dick. Also, J-Bin Kappen. Maybe also probably needs to go. Yep. I love the burlap hat. This is not a burlap hat, it's a knit, actually. I know in the light it looks like it, but it's a knit hat, actually. Cable knit, so it's pretty large. Yeah. Artist hipster gal. I guess I'll take that. That's fair. Okay, so let's see, moving on. Bangkok is loud, very, 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 very loud. Louder than you can imagine, because 50% of the people drive motor scooters or motorbikes or motorcycles that have engines that sound like they're all having heart attacks all the time. Basically, they sound like lawnmowers that are dying. I needed a set of sound canceling headphones to be able to walk around, basically. So if you want peace and quiet, Bangkok is not the city for you. Even the ferry boats on the river, on the Chao Phraya River, were very, very loud. Also had what sounded like lawnmower engines. So yeah, if you need peace and quiet, you need to go to the north, which is what we generally do. I've been to some of the islands in Thailand, and they're interesting and nice, especially if you go to the islands where the Thai go to take their vacations rather than where the Westerners go. They're more peaceful, they're more quiet, way fewer tourists, and it's not just people getting drunk and vomiting all over the place. But if you want real peace and quiet, and you want weather that is actually pretty manageable and comfortable, relatively speaking, the highlands are where you want to go. So I really do recommend Chiang Mai and Chiang Rai, which Chiang Rai is within almost a stone's throw of Laos, the border of Laos and Cambodia. But Chiang Mai was the capital of the Lana Kingdom, which was the northern half of Thailand, and was its own kingdom until about 100 years ago, 120 years ago. So Chiang Mai is a historic city. It still has an old city, and then it's got the new city that is, spread up around it. And there's so many beautiful temples there, many of them 800 years old or older, really gorgeous historic architecture. And it's a really thriving northern Thai culture, the Lana culture, and it's different from central or southern Thailand. I have lots of friends from Bangkok who have met up with me in Chiang Mai, and they always marvel to me how different things are in the north. And the people in Chiang Mai and around Chiang Mai in that part of Thailand also view themselves as being different than the rest of Thailand. They view themselves as being Lana. They don't necessarily call themselves Thai. It was very interesting to experience that version of identity. To us outsiders, everyone in Thailand is Thai, but that is absolutely not the case in Thailand. And up in Chiang Mai, up in the highlands, there are actually tribes of peoples living in the hills who are not Thai. Some of them are actually refugees from Myanmar, and they're still sort of living like tribal hill peoples. And my term, I don't call hill people, is what my friends from Bangkok call them. I'd like to make that clear. It's not a pejorative term. So if you go up to northern Thailand, you're going to have, northern Thai food is completely different. It's not the green curry, yellow curry, red curry, tom kha kai, tom yum soup, right? It's a whole different palette of flavors. I would say it's actually more sophisticated, even though central Thai food is very rich and flavorful. Northern Thai food is yet another step on the sophistication level, culinarily speaking. So if you go to Chiang Mai, and I really recommend you do, you absolutely have to make sure you go to a Lana restaurant, right? You have to go to a restaurant that serves traditional northern Thai food. And there are several, in an increasing number of them actually in Chiang Mai. But more than that, I recommend you take a northern Thai cooking course, a Lana cooking course, because then you're going to actually be taught how to make these recipes. And when you go home, you can make them yourself, because I can guarantee you that 99% likely to not find northern Thai cuisine outside of northern Thailand. And we actually did this on our last trip. There is this lovely lady, her name is Lynn. She runs this school called Love Chiang Mai Cooking School, and it's on her own little farm out in the countryside. It's super peaceful. She'll pick you up from your hotel. She will take you to the market and give you a tour of a traditional organic market in Chiang Mai, not where the tourists shop, it's where the locals shop still for their groceries and their meat, because there's fresh butchers there. It's a wet market, which means you're getting freshly butchered meat, fresh fish, in many cases still alive in the barrels of water at the fishmonger stands. So she actually gives you a tour of the market. She tells you, she talks about the vegetables, the herbs, the spices, the meat and the fish, all of these ingredients that you're going to need for, the recipes that you're about to make. And, it's such a fantastic learning experience. Then you go to her farm, and she actually feeds you at the market. She's bought some other dishes so that you can actually taste some other northern Thai things than the ones that you're going to be making in your cooking class. You all have a nice kind of late breakfast together, basically, and then you start cooking. And in this cooking experience, it was all slow cooking. It was also cooking. So we were actually making food using mortars and pestles, using stone grinders, grain grinders. We were cooking over coals on a clay stove using clay pots and wooden implements. Everything was hand done. And she talked us through it step by step. And the best part, we were making her family recipes. So these are her mother's recipes. Her mother learned them from her grandmother, who learned them from her great grandmother. et cetera, et cetera. So we actually, she showed us pictures of her family, told us about, the story of her family, where they came from, their sort of journey from relative poverty to a relatively comfortable place where she can now own this little farm. It was a great experience. So if you go to Thailand, I really recommend, wherever you are, try to find a local traditional cooking experience. Now, there's a lot of cooking experiences now, and a lot of them are sort of what I call factory cooking experiences, where they've got these massive complexes with all these different cooking kitchens, commercial kitchens for tourists, and you feel like you're just being churned. But this one was different from the last ones that we've done in Thailand. It was a much more personal experience. Really enjoyable. Yeah. Okay. Did you say there's questions? What time is it there? That's a good question. It is 7 p.m. here. Let's see, you're in Delaware, so that would make it 5 a.m., right? I'm in Kansas, it's 4 a.m. Yeah, yeah, so we've just got back from Thailand. I'm currently in South Korea. I don't stay in one place for very long, in case you're wondering. So we're actually currently in Daegu, South Korea, where it is currently 7 p.m. If it were Thailand, though, it would be 5 p.m. Yep. So yeah, a cooking experience is an absolute must if you are in Thailand or if you are in Chiang Mai. Did you get rid of those assholes? Oh, excellent. Excellent. Yeah. By the way, if you're enjoying this live stream talking about travel tips for Thailand, please do double tap that screen to like and consider subscribing to my channel. I do these kinds of live streams regularly. I post all sorts of travel tips, videos about traveling in various places in the world. So you might, if you enjoy my style, check it out. Otherwise, if you are considering flying to Thailand from America especially, it's a long ass flight. I will not dissemble, I will not demur, I will not prevaricate. It is a long flight. If you can in any way manage to save up to fly either in economy, premium select economy, premium economy, or business class, I really recommend it, because it makes a huge difference between arriving feeling like your death not even warmed over, or arriving feeling like a human ready to face the new day. Right, so I really recommend, if you can manage it. Credit card points, if you look at a lot of videos on my channel, you may say I fly business class a lot. I don't buy those tickets cash. I play the credit card game and I book on points. So we prioritize comfortable travel over other things in our lives too. But it makes a big difference on a long flight like that. It'll make the difference between it taking a couple of days to recover from the jet lag, or you being able to recover relatively more quickly. Just a tip. I understand that's not in everyone's budget, and that's fine. But there is something a lot of airlines are doing now, and you might want to keep your eye on it. If you buy an economy class ticket and you buy it in an economy class fare that is upgradable, you have to check your terms and conditions. Usually Y is upgradable. There are different kinds of fares in each class of service. Some of them are not upgradable. And, we actually had this issue coming back from Thailand. We had bought a ticket that was not upgradable. I kind of knew it wasn't going to be, but I was hoping they would get desperate. They didn't. So sometimes it's worth paying a little bit more for a higher level of fare in that class of service, so that when the airline offers an upgrade deal, you are eligible for it. I know I've gotten some really amazing upgrade deals. I paid economy class for our flights from Korea to Seattle last Christmas, and we got an offer to upgrade to Delta One for $700. You bet your ass I took it, because that 12-hour flight, $700 more, it was worth it to me. Mind you, we don't own a car and we live very frugally in a tiny apartment. So like I said, I have other priorities when it comes to how we spend our money. But if we hadn't had the right fare, we couldn't have upgraded. So a lot of airlines are now offering upgrade deals that sometimes are pretty damned good, especially if you're flying in the off season when everyone isn't flying. And I absolutely recommend flying in the off season. Off season, when you're coming from the US or Europe, is going to be not when schools are on break. So not in the summer, because in the summer, families are trying to go places, summer US or Europe, right? not at Christmas, not at spring break. But if you can fly in between those times, then you are much more likely to get a good deal because the plane will probably not be full and the airlines will be looking for a way to fill it. And what they're going to try to do is they're going to try to fill it from the front. They're going to try to get people to pay to upgrade to the front of the plane so that they can then offer lower fares to get people in the back of the plane. So this is a tip. It's worked out for us a bunch of times that we've been able to purchase an upgrade for a fraction of what buying a business class ticket would have cost just outright. Yep. Yeah, Chris Glover says that's the part flying for me, but would love to go there. So if the flight is long and it's gruesome, but you might be able to break it up depending on where you're coming from. So you might want to, if you have the time, like time is a luxury, I get it, it's a resource most of us don't have, but if you can manage it, if you can manage to actually, book it in stages. So maybe if you're flying from the East Coast, for instance, maybe you fly as far as the West Coast and then you stop and stay for a day or two. And then maybe you fly to Hawaii and you stay for a couple of days. And then you continue from there and you hit Japan, you stay for a couple of days. And then, you go to Taiwan and you stay for a couple of days. And then you head onward to Thailand, right? That could be an option. Or if you're going from Europe, it's a shorter flight. It's only a 14-hour flight, but from Europe, okay, that's crazy. Okay, so you stop, maybe you fly Turkish Airlines and you stop in Istanbul and stay there for a couple of days. Then maybe, you fly onward from there. It's a much shorter flight, right? Also, I'm going to recommend you avoid flying an American flag carrier at all costs. Asian carriers are going to have bigger, more comfortable seats. They're going to have way better service. They're going to have better food, and they'll probably be less expensive than the American flag carriers are, especially in the back of the plane, right, in economy class. So I recommend looking at Thai Airways. I recommend looking at Asiana Air. I recommend looking at All Nippon Airways, Vietnam Air. I recommend looking at a variety of Singapore Air. Seriously, because even in economy class, your experience is going to be so much better than it would be in the same class of service on Delta, American, United. The exception there might be Hawaiian Air. Hawaiian Air is now actually offering a much wider service because Hawaiian Air and Alaskan Air. Alaskan Air is also actually a pretty nice airline as an American flag carrier. So if you can get a flight to Thailand using a combination of Alaskan Air and Hawaiian Air, and maybe probably you'll have to get another Asian airline to get you the last leg of that trip. In economy class, it will be a much more pleasant experience, most likely than United, Delta, or American. That's just the way it is, sadly. JetBlue only pretty much flies, as far as I know, eastward from between jumps the Atlantic. I don't think JetBlue has any options going to Thailand, so I don't think that enters into my calculations there. Yeah. Let me see. I'll probably board in Denver. Yeah. So then, from Denver, you could fly as far as, so Denver is probably not going to be any nonstop flights anyway, which is fine, right? So from Denver anyway, you would probably then connect in Los Angeles or San Francisco, maybe Seattle, but more likely Los Angeles or San Francisco. And if you fly, if you fly All Nippon Airways or if you fly Korean Air, which you actually can do for that route, many friends I know have, then, you would have a flight to Japan or Korea, which would be from the West Coast, would be 10 hours-ish, give or take. And then you would connect onward down from there to Thailand, which would be 5 to 6 hours, right? So breaking it up like that would certainly be much more pleasant than a nonstop flight. And if you have a long enough layover, then you can absolutely go into those countries and see things, on your layover in Tokyo or Seoul. Just make sure, remember everyone, if you have a layover, a long layover in any country, the second you buy your ticket, Go and check and see what the visitor's visa restrictions are or rules are. Some countries have free transit visas where if you're only going to be there for 24 or 48 hours, you can just go into the country. They'll give you a stamp there at the gate at immigration, and you can just go in and then, get back on your plane. Other countries like Vietnam, especially if you're a US citizen, will require you to actually apply for a visitor's visa in advance. You'll have to pay money, et cetera, et cetera. So this is like a general travel tip. Whenever you travel to another country, before you book your ticket, check what their visa requirements are. In some cases, they'll require a minimum validity on your passport, which might be a year in some cases. So if you're a year out from your passport expiring, you might want to look at renewing it. Other countries will require you to apply months in advance for a visitor's visa, right? And it varies and it will change. It will change. It can change in some cases from month to month depending on the country. So just remember, when you're starting to plan travel to anywhere, before you book that ticket, check the restrictions on the visitor's visa. And there are a lot of fraudulent websites out there for visitor's visas who will claim to apply for it for you, and they'll charge you an exorbitant amount of money, way more than going to the official government website would have. So always check that you're on the official government website when you're looking at information for a visitor's visa. The embassy websites are official and will give you the right information and have the correct links. So if you go to the US Embassy website, for instance, and check out travel information for Thailand, it will have the right information. Well, it used to have the right information. Who knows what kind of information is on that website now, right? Anyway. So always do your research before you book your ticket, because here's the thing, you will not get a refund on your fare just because you don't meet the visa requirements to get into the country. That does not count as a valid reason for cancellation and refund. Okay. Yeah, goodbye, asshole. Aw, you poor little baby. Go back to your mommy's basement. Okay, hello, how are you? Ben, welcome to my channel. Welcome to this travel tips for Thailand and in general. I'm of course answering general questions about travel, so welcome. I'm having a lovely evening. It's a beautiful snowy day here in Korea, and I don't think you can actually see. The snow has unfortunately stopped, but we had one last winter snow before spring. In fact, yesterday it felt like spring, and then today we had a surprise snowfall, surprised even the weather people. And tomorrow I think it's going to go back to being warm again, so the snow will be gone by this time tomorrow. Yep. Okay, so back to once you are in Thailand. Once you're in Thailand, you have to decide where you're going to stay. And we were talking specifically about Chiang Mai, but this kind of applies to anywhere in Thailand. There are a lot of roads in Thailand that if you look at a map, they will look like they're not big roads and they should be quiet, but they're probably loud and obnoxious despite that. So you should actually read the reviews of the hotels you're looking at, or the Airbnb or the lodgings, because people generally, when they review these places, they will talk about the noise. And if you like to sleep quietly at night, you want a bed and breakfast or a hotel that is off of a main road and in a kind of a corner. So keep that in mind. Or bring earplugs or sound canceling headphones. In Chiang Mai, your best bet for quiet is going to be inside the old city on one of the windy roads that's off of the main thoroughfare. In Chiang Mai, if the road goes straight through the city, it is a main road and it will be loud until relatively late and starting pretty early. So keep that in mind. Thailand is a very loud country. It's still developing, and part of that development is the vehicles that make a lot of noise until late and starting early. Chiang Mai has a lot of interesting lodging opportunities that are different from other places. There are a lot of homestays in Chiang Mai. Some of them you can actually stay in a traditional Thai home, which is a very interesting experience. You actually have a host. It's like old school bed and breakfast, not like an Airbnb where you get the whole place to yourself. And then you can actually experience what a teak home feels like. And in Chiang Mai, an increasing number of the old teak homes that were built 100, 120 years ago are now being converted into bed and breakfasts. In some cases, Airbnbs where you can just rent the whole property. But for that, the prices are absolutely going up. It's not quite the bargain basement it once was. We stayed at a 4-star hotel this last time in Chiang Mai. We have a live stream tour of that one if you want to check out on the channel after this live stream. The Ping Doi Hualin Boutique Hotel, which apparently was a cholera ward, strangely built about 100 years ago in a very over-the-top neo-Renaissance, neo-Baroque Versailles palace style. And it's unfortunately right at the corner of the medieval city walls, which are basically now a 4-lane highway that rings around the city, the old city, and it is loud pretty much all the time. So that was my mistake for thinking at the corner of the city wall must equal quiet, because it would in a European city. It does not in a medieval Thai city. So yeah.
Somebody asked if there's any good slopes in Korea to snowboard on.
Oh yeah, Big Gizzy. Are there good slopes here? Yes, but up in the north. If you want to ski in Korea, you have to go up to the northeast. That's where all the ski resorts are. Unfortunately, it's yeah, the good ones. Yeah, they're up in the north. I mean, there are some closer to here, but the good ones are up in the northeast. And basically where the Winter Olympics were in 2018, and that's why they were there. Unfortunately, the climate's changing, and so increasingly they're having to rely on artificial powder. But snowboarding is a huge thing here. I know a lot of people who snowboard instead of ski, and it's not expensive for us. For those of us who earn either euros or dollars or Canadian dollars or some other EU currency, it's not that expensive. And you can rent boards, you can rent all the equipment you need right there at the slopes. It's a much more mass-produced experience than it is, say, if you go to the Swiss Alps or something like that. It's much more democratic, I would say. A much larger experience to go snowboarding here. As a side note, snowboarders are a menace on the ski slopes. I'm teasing, but also I'm not. Oh, look at that. Kate McDougall. Oh. Right, so Thailand, Korea is a credit card economy for the most part. Thailand is still very much a cash economy. So some places absolutely accept credit card, and that's a really good way to, not be able to track your spending. But a lot of places, even restaurants, will only accept cash. We went to one Lana restaurant, Northern Thai cuisine restaurant, where the sign actually said, cash, no credit, cash only, no veggie. And what they meant is that there were no vegetarian dishes. Of course, there's lots of vegetables in Thai cuisine across all of Thailand, but it was a funny sign. And that was a pretty expensive restaurant, and even they didn't accept credit cards. So just be prepared. Right now, the exchange rate is 30 baht to $1, more or less. So meals on average in Chiang Mai for a good meal, like a good multi-course meal in a quality restaurant, like the Lana restaurant that I just mentioned, it was about 300 baht per person. So, little less than $10 per person. In Thailand, that's actually kind of expensive, but for Westerners, it's not. So you can definitely enjoy a lot of Thailand for much less money than you could have more or less the same experience in, say, Japan or even Korea. Yeah. Let me see. The average temp has only changed by 1 degree in Asia in the last 100 years. Your view on climate change without facts is propaganda. Oh, Eric, it is with facts. Yeah, no, it's with facts. You need to talk to Koreans, baby cakes. By the way, 1 degree change does not mean that it's only 1 degree warmer now, my dear. So you need to actually educate yourself on average temperatures and what a change in average temperature actually means in terms of real temperatures on the ground. Cheers, baby cakes. Love you. Okay, yeah. So, river walks. In many countries throughout the world, there are now beautiful river walks. Korea is full of river walks, like all the streams, all the creeks, big rivers, small rivers. Korea has worked really hard to develop beautiful river walks, miles and miles and miles long, many of them interconnected. In some cases, you could bike from one end of Korea to the other entirely on a river or a creek without ever having to go on a road. That is not the case in Thailand. Thailand does not have long river walks, not even Bangkok. Bangkok wanted to develop a beautiful, like 14-kilometer long river walk on the Chao Phraya River, but there was massive resistance to it. And so they managed to develop like a mile of it. So don't expect to be able to go to Thailand and just, bike for miles on a river or go take a nice long river walk. You'll have to take a metro to somewhere or a taxi or even a tourist ferry to somewhere, walk for a relatively short distance and then take the metro or ferry back. But there are spots where you can go, a couple of kilometers at a time. Also, don't expect that those river walks will necessarily be that developed. We discovered that the hard way walking on the river walk in Chiang Mai at nighttime, where we found a mud puddle that was actually about 1.5 feet deep, but in the dark we didn't see it. So that was an adventure. It's part of being flexible when you travel. A good travel adventure means you get dirty, something breaks down, you end up wondering if you're going to survive, but you somehow do survive. Like, that's my favorite kind of travel adventure. The ones where you can laugh about it afterwards. Let's see. Sunday night walking market. So Thailand, Southern Asia in general, is known for its walking markets, right? It's famous for them. Asia in general, especially in warm places, is known for night markets. Korea is known for its night markets too. In Chiang Mai, there is a night bazaar, but that night bazaar, according to my local friends, Thai friends who live in Chiang Mai, that night bazaar hasn't been frequented by locals in about 20 or 25 years. It's now mostly a tourist experience. It's an interesting experience. I highly recommend it. You're going to get to see what the Thai people call ladyboys. Those would be trans performers, right? Drag queens, basically putting on an amazing show. They're lots of fun, and they're really fun people to also go drinking with. But the stalls at these markets are going to be it's going to be like the same 5 stalls on repeat. And they're going to offer things at prices that are aimed at foreigners, and it's going to be, dried fruit, Thai tourist clothing, leather bags, coconut items, same thing over and over and over. Now, however, on Sunday night in Chiang Mai, they actually shut down one of the central roads in the center of the old city from end to end. It's about a mile long. And it's a craftsman market. So they actually have craftsmen along the street making their handmade wares right there in front of you and selling them from their own booth. And all of the temples also then have little markets as well, where they've got tons of food stalls selling really local foodstuffs. I'm talking toasted bamboo worms. I'm talking grilled squid egg sack. I'm talking honeyed silkworm larvae. So you can really get seriously local things. And you will buy items directly from the artisan. They get the money directly. There's no middleman. You can watch them making the items right there. This is also where Thai tourists go. So a lot of people from Bangkok actually travel up from Bangkok to Chiang Mai, where they then actually have suits made, apparently, because Chiang Mai is so much cheaper than Bangkok is. So they actually go up there to have suits made. And they actually go to the walking market on Wednesday night or on Sunday night, and they purchase things. The walking market starts at about 4 p.m. and goes until about 10 p.m. So it doesn't necessarily go as late as you might expect it to, but it's an absolute must. If you can plan to go to Chiang Mai so that you have all of Sunday there so you can enjoy the full night market. And then, if you have to leave on Monday, that's fine, but definitely be there for the Sunday night market. Now, there's a bunch of other night markets throughout the city that are less touristed and more just aimed at the people who are in the city, where you can get fresh produce. Thailand is a fruit country. If you like fresh fruit, Thailand is your baby. One of the things I love about Thailand, the green mango spears. So there are fruit stands everywhere on the street selling fresh fruit that has been peeled and cored and sliced and put in a little baggie for you. One green mango cost about 20 baht. So that's like 60 cents US, 65, 70 cents US. And that's not one mango, that's usually 2 mangoes worth of mango. And I love green mango because it's crunchy, it's sour, a little bit bitter, a little bit sweet, and it actually comes often with a little baggie, a little packet, a sachet of chili sugar for those who want to sprinkle that on their mango. Okay, question. No, okay.
You got a full suit from overseas?
Oh, I got a full suit from overseas? Oh, very cool, yeah. Some people have had, getting suits overseas on a trip can be tricky. You have to find the right tailor. Because if you don't find the right tailor with the right quality who actually cares about producing a quality product, you may walk away with a suit that literally falls apart a couple of days later. I know this because I have friends who've had that happen to them. So if you have local friends, say in Thailand or in Chiang Mai, get their recommendation on a reputable tailor. You probably don't want to go to whatever tourist shop is just in the main tourist area. Tourist tailor shop is in the main tourist area. Yeah. Shoes you can also get in Chiang Mai or in Thailand, like locally made shoes. But the interesting thing about the shoes in Chiang Mai, all of the tourist shops selling Thai-made shoes were selling shoes that were made in Bangkok and then transported up to Chiang Mai. So it doesn't seem there are many people in Chiang Mai itself making shoes anymore, unfortunately. But if your shoes fail you in Thailand, you are in luck because they still have a lot of very skilled shoe repair places in Thailand, and often the shoe repair places will also do luggage repair. So if your suitcase breaks while you're in Thailand, you can actually get it fixed. You don't have to buy a new one. And there was a very specific shoe repair place that was recommended to us by a friend of ours who's from Thailand, lives in Chiang Mai, and we managed to get multiple sets of shoes repaired in a couple of days, and we spent, I don't know, a third of what we would have spent or a fourth of what we would have spent if we'd done the same thing here in Korea. And he did a brilliant job on it. So, if your shoes fall apart, if your soles give up the ghost or your suitcase breaks down, go to your hotel or your host if you're staying at a bed and breakfast and ask for their recommendation for a local repair place.
No, I'm just looking for something.
Oh, okay. Yep.
End of product.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. If you spend enough time in Thailand or in Asia and you're a Westerner, you might eventually start to crave cheese. Like I do. I get dairy cravings, pretty severe. There are actually multiple options for dairy in Thailand, and in Chiang Mai specifically, weirdly, there are Dairy Queens in Thailand. I don't know why, but there are Dairy Queens in Thailand. So if you are craving Dairy Queen, you can get it in Thailand. There are also local Thai spin-offs of Dairy Queen that are the Thai equivalent of Dairy Queen. So you can get soft serve. And there were a lot of gelato places all over Bangkok and Chiang Mai now. Gelato, very thing I associate with Thailand. And there are also an increasing number of pizza places. Some of them are actually quite good. There is actually in Chiang Mai an excellent Chicago deep dish pizza place called Ann's Pizza. We have a friend there who lives in Chiang Mai, and he's actually Thai American. His parents are Thai. He was born and raised in Chicago. He went back to Thailand when he was in his early 20s, and he desperately misses his, Chicago deep dish pizza. And Ann's Pizza does a really damn good job of it. So yeah, if you're looking for deep dish pizza and you're in Chiang Mai, check out Ann's Pizza. No, she's not a channel sponsor. She hasn't paid me or remunerated me in any way to say this. But the crust was super buttery, the cheese was delicious, the sauces were delicious. Highly recommend it. If you have the need for cheese, Ann's Pizza is your place. There are some good pizza places in Bangkok as well. Bangkok has a large expatriate community. There are actually good pubs in Bangkok. Which is interesting. We were at what was it called? The Lions, the Swan, the Oak Inn, the Royal Oak Inn. The Royal Oak Inn is a pub we went to in Bangkok that actually had amazing lamb shank on the menu. Yeah. So there are actually pretty good Western options as well. Bangkok is a very international food scene. You can get Georgian cuisine, you can get Egyptian cuisine, you can get South African cuisine, you can get Nigerian cuisine, you can get Ethiopian cuisine. It's all there. It's the Kazakh cuisine. There's a lot of big thriving food scene in Bangkok. Chiang Mai is a little less diverse because it's a much smaller city and it's in the highlands rather than, at the sort of right on the water, the central trade port that is Bangkok. But Yeah, if you feel the need for cheese, Anne's Pizza is the place in Chiang Mai. Let's see, Monk's Trail. If you're in northern Thailand, if you're in the highlands, you want to go to the mountains. That's really one of the most beautiful things about northern Thailand are these verdant hills and mountains covered in rainforest, and there are hiking trails. Some of them are more navigable than others are. In Chiang Mai, there is this fairly famous trail called the Monk's Trail. It goes up a mountain called Doi Sutep, and it ends at a temple that was built on the spot where the king's white elephant supposedly died a couple of hundred years ago. You know you're the king when your white elephant dies and you build a temple in the elephant's honor, right? So the trail is called the Monk's Trail because it was supposedly a monk who basically built the trail, made the trail kind of known. And about halfway up, you stop at one beautiful temple. And the trail to that first half is easy, really. The trail from the second half going to the top of Doi Sutep is treacherous and so steep in parts that you are climbing with your hands as well as your feet. We passed several people with small children on this trail. I don't think they realized what they were getting into. So if you are climbing the Monk's Trail, keep that in mind, that the second half is crazy steep and is definitely not meant for the faint of heart. And I mean that literally. If you have heart issues, do not climb the Monk's Trail. It is not for you. On our way, the first time we tried to climb up Doi Sutep, we actually passed some very disturbing outdoor toilets that were on the side of the road. There's a short video about it on this channel and all of my travel channels, where literally, I guess the government, maybe, someone with actual equipment built basically 3-4 latrines, and they put an actual commode over top of a concrete pad that is over top of a hole in the ground. And they're just in the forest right next to a main road, 30 feet off of the main road, 40 feet off of the main road. Just sitting there in the forest like a modern art installation, symbolizing the way humanity is shitting on the environment or something like that. But no, really, you're supposed to go use them apparently. We did not. We did not. They had scary stains on them. But it was one of the most interesting things I've seen on my travels in terms of bemusing. Let's see, craft classes. If you go to Thailand, there are now an increasing number of craft classes, ranging in everything from just painting, modern painting, like Western style, acrylic painting, like a sip and paint experience, all the way to actually learning a real local handcraft. And in Chiang Mai, you can actually learn how to do palm weaving, where you actually take palm fronds and actually weave them into different kinds of things, little baskets or the traditional fans that they have up there, and then you can actually paint it. So if you are the crafty type, then definitely check out whatever is the latest and greatest in crafting experiences when you go to Thailand. Okay, well everyone, I think I've gotten through most of my prepared presentation. Are there any questions about traveling to Thailand and in around Thailand? Oh, while I let you ask your questions, the train. Oh, was there a question?
Where are you?
Oh, we're currently in Daegu, South Korea, actually, but we just got back from 10 days in Thailand, and we get to Thailand about twice a year on average. So we've traveled there quite a bit. So train travel in Thailand, regular long distance train. There are different calibers of trains in Thailand, like there are in most countries, but the discrepancy between the much older trains and the brand new trains is immense. And the quality of experience is also, there's a yawning chasm between, say, the old third-class trains and the new long-distance night trains that they have. So there is a long-distance night train that you can take from Bangkok to northern Thailand, but it books out the second-class cabins and the first-class cabins, which are, by the way, by Western standards, super cheap and very, very nice. Book out months, plural, in advance. I did a dummy booking just to see when the next available tickets were, and it was April from when I was looking at the end of January. So if you're planning a trip to Thailand and you would like to take the night train from Bangkok to Chiang Mai or Chiang Mai to Bangkok, you need to plan that months and months in advance. And the first class cabins only cost $100 a person. It's a 12-hour ride. You have a private cabin with a really nice bed. They provide all the bedding. You get served first class food. They make up your bed for you. It's a complete experience. Second class is also really nice. There you get when they convert everything into a bed, it actually turns into, you have kind of like a bunk, basically, and there's an upper bunk and a lower bunk, but the beds are actually very wide. Again, they make up the bed for you, they provide clean bedding, and you get food. And the second class cabins, I think it was only like $40 each way, which again is insanely cheap for a 12-hour ride on a train where you get a nice bed and service and food. But again, you have to book those months in advance. The only seats left by the time I was looking, our last trip to Thailand was really last minute. The only seats left at that point were third class sitting upright fan seats. So not even air conditioning. You're in a car that has no air conditioning in a tropical country. So most of the third class trains are like that. You're not going to have air conditioning. The windows will be open and it will be so loud that you will think you're in a war zone. So keep that in mind.
Amtrak wishes they were like that.
Yes, sounds like Amtrak. Amtrak wishes that it were as nice as the night train in Thailand. I've taken Amtrak a lot. This is way cheaper than Amtrak and definitely a better quality experience for the money, especially for the money. But yeah. So any other final questions about traveling to, in and around Thailand? If you're approaching Thailand from within Asia, there are a lot of budget carriers that fly around Asia for relatively little money, really little, and the experience will actually still be a decent one. You will, even on budget carriers here in Asia, the crew tend to be very friendly. You will, that you might have to pay for every drink or food you get on a budget carrier, but it will be pretty cheap. And you're welcome to bring your own food and drink onto the plane. And even on budget carriers, often the budget ticket you get, even then will still come with a free checked bag. Unlike American not budget carriers where you have to pay for every single checked bag you bring on, right? So yeah, traveling around Asia is really easy. So it's very easy to make a 2 or 3 week here to Asia and visit a bunch of different places. So, you don't have to do just Thailand. You could do Japan, Korea, and Thailand, or Vietnam and Cambodia and Thailand, although maybe not Cambodia right now. Maybe not Cambodia right now. Maybe not your best bet. Because things are a little hot right now in that part of the world. Let me see, on Amtrak, we spent over $600 to have that kind of experience with the maid service and the free dinners and the catering. Yeah, exactly. Oh, artists. Okay, artists, welcome. Thank you for joining. I guess, see you later. If you've been enjoying this, please double tap that screen and consider subscribing. And I've got a whole host of other content on this channel, lots of travel tips, lots of shorts depicting travel in a lot of different countries. I've got long format videos, I have short videos, I have live stream recordings, so go ahead and check out what I have to offer. I'm an acquired taste. I totally get that. My style is not for everyone, so that's just the way it is. Yeah, Amtrak is so expensive, whereas, and that's the nice thing about traveling in most of Asia, it's very affordable, especially if you're coming from the West. If you're coming from Canada or the US or the EU, traveling, especially in Southern and Southeast Asia, is going to seem very inexpensive. Even traveling in Korea is going to seem inexpensive. Even traveling in Korea is going to seem inexpensive compared to the equivalent experiences in North America or in Europe. Yeah, but Thailand is even cheaper, way cheaper. As in, Koreans go to Thailand because they think it's cheap. Yeah. One of the ways we like to travel around Asia is actually Vietnam Airlines. You can check out, I've done a travel vlog on them, on their business class experience. I'm going to be doing one on their economy class. It's a fantastic airline, really friendly people, nice product, good food, even in economy class. So can recommend, if the price is right, definitely take that as a way to travel around Asia. And even on the long distance flights, we've flown them from Europe to Korea, actually. So yeah, really good experience. Okay, everyone. Be your moderator. Okay.
She
Well,
already has a moderator.
what?
You have a moderator.
I currently have a moderator. I don't always have a moderator though, sometimes. Okay, everyone. If you have any questions and I didn't answer them, pop them in the comments and I will make sure to reply. Yeah. How is it with the disease that's going on right now over there? Jun Sunshine, what do you mean by which disease? Are you talking about the flu? And when, or are you which part over there? Do you mean Asia's a big continent? There's just a flu going around in Korea. We don't have anything particularly special at the moment. Everyone seems to have it. Well, my friends in the US seem to have it too, actually. Yeah, there's nothing big enough going around to cause concern. Although, wait, there was something. Oh no, there was something, wasn't there? When we came back, no, when we came back into Busan, there were signs that said, if you're from these countries, you have to go this way.
Signs have been there for forever.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Nothing it's the new disease now, not the COVID. I forgot the name of it. Well, it's not gone pandemic yet over here. So I will say it's not yet causing concern. Give it a couple of months. I'll get back to you. Any further questions, anyone? I would like to take this opportunity to thank my patrons and my channel members. I would like to thank all of you who listened today, who asked good questions, who weren't assholes in the live stream. It's nice to have not assholes in the live stream. Yeah, it's nice.
It gives me something to do.
Yeah, I guess it gives my moderator a purpose, a life goal to shoot down all those little small penis babies who live in their mommy's basements. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and until next time, may your travels be unexpected and creative as mine always are. Until next time, everyone. Tschüss.